Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you once again for joining us. I am Queen Cassandra, and I am here this evening to bring to you another interview. As we celebrate our Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I wanted to bring to you not only the causes that we're supporting and talk about our donations that we're making this month, but I have a treat for you over the next couple of days. We're going to be highlighting some of the queens in our Queen Bling group, and we want to talk to them about their personal journey and about their story. So we have a few people we're going to be highlighting this week, and this evening we're going to be introducing you to Miss Treny Brown. Treny Brown is coming to us from Montezuma, Georgia. For those of you who have no idea where that is a city in Southwest Georgia. Treny and I have some roots that go back to high school. I actually graduated high school with her brother. We were very close friends during high school. I think I actually helped him graduate, probably with some of those papers that I wrote for him. So shout out to Sammy Hall. Yes. So I am so excited today to have Treny on with us. I have a treat for you guys. She has an amazing story. She is a beautiful woman of God, and I am so excited to have Treny Brown here on with us tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you watch this show, I hope that you are encouraged, that you are strengthened, and most of all, that you become aware of not only the diagnosis does not mean death, but there is victory also in this battle with breast cancer. So I'm excited to have Treny. So welcome, Treny. Thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you, Cassandra. It's a
So
blessing to be here.
yes, so we're going to talk a little bit about just kind of, first of all, we want to start off, we believe in celebrating. So, first of all, we want to celebrate you. You shared with me that October, it makes 9 years that you've been a survivor. Yes. Ring the bell. We are excited
Yeah.
that you have survived for 9 years. So, talk to us a little bit about this ninth year, what things you've done to celebrate your 9 years of survivorship.
Well, Cassandra, each year of survivorship, I just try to do something like this. Normally, each year I do a little something with my church family, sharing information and sharing my story. I share with them. I would be remiss if I never shared the goodness that God has done, all the good things that He's done for me. He's healing and taking care of me through all of this. And so I'm just always glad to share what God has done for me.
Amen. So I believe you shared with your own church family this past week, right? Is
I did
Yeah.
on Sunday. I did. It was kind of last minute because we are, thank God, we now have a shepherd. We have been looking for a pastor as we had lost our pastor a year or so ago due to COVID.
Okay.
Yes, and so that's another thing we can add to our list, just to say how good God is. He's good. He's
Yeah,
good, and we are grateful.
absolutely.
And so it was a kind of shooting at the hip because I normally share some information and stuff. I didn't have a lot with me, but I gave them the information and shared my story. And the chairman had called me and mentioned it, and I couldn't turn. I would dare not turn away if it wasn't but 5 minutes. I had to just get up and share. And so
Right.
on Sunday we did do that, and it was a beautiful service.
Well, I am so glad to hear that. And even though you didn't have anything with you, what does the song say? I'm glad I got Jesus down in my heart.
And that's enough.
That's enough.
That's
Yes.
enough. Yes.
So, talk to us a little bit about Treny's story. So, we know that October, of course, is our observation of breast cancer awareness, but not only are we supporting breast cancer, but all cancers. But I want you to tell us a little bit about Treny's story. So, talk to us about how your journey began in this topic.
Well, about 9 years ago this month, my husband and I were seated in the living room area, just there conversing with each other, watching television. And honestly, it was, I want to say that it was a it ended up being a self breast exam. But truthfully, you know how, and I'm just being real,
Just be
you
real.
know how sometimes we're sitting and you're just comfortable and you just kind of reach, and you're just talking and you reach, you know how, especially with women, when you're comfortable, you just kind of reach, on your top area here. And as I did so, I just kind of felt and I thought, wait a minute, that doesn't that doesn't feel too right there. But I just thought it to myself. Didn't mention it to him at that time. And so the next day was a Sunday. And so I said, okay, I'm going to, lay back in my bed and do my self breast exam and just kind of check things out. And so I thought, well, if it's gone, then I'm good. When I did this breast self exam, it wasn't gone. And so I was like, okay, so it's not just something, that I was just feeling. It really is there. And so when I went to work the next morning, it was a Monday, working in public health, I'm kind of around nurses. So I kind of, went through the process to talk with the nurse. And I said, hey, look, I feel a little something here and I want you to check it out for me. And a couple of nurses did so. And it turned out that we, kind of validated that it may be of concern. You weren't claiming anything, but you don't claim anything, but you want to move forward in the event because you want to be, safe, and you want to be knowing what you need to do when you need to do it.
Right.
So with that, I did go and see my doctor. Long story short, it did turn that it was breast cancer. I think triple negative is the next thing kind of on our list there. As we talk about triple negative breast cancer, it actually was diagnosed as triple negative. Triple negative breast cancer is the for especially for I'm not sure why it is, but especially for Black women, there it often affects Black women.
Okay.
And triple negative is the receptors for triple negative, the three things that would normally recept for regular breast cancer does not for triple negative.
Okay.
So it makes it more aggressive. So being that, so that led me to have to be aggressively seen. So I had to go on with my surgery. And after healing from the surgery, I had a lumpectomy. Fortunately, I caught it early. Early detection is the best protection. Early detection, and so I was able to catch it early. And in doing so, I was able to have. I had to have additional BRCA testing, which is like the testing that they test for, different um, different things that are for a different age group, different diagnoses for different age groups,
Okay.
and so you would with this BRCA testing, it's BRCA, I think it's BRCA 1, BRCA 2, and so those results indicated that at my age that I should have, I could have. It's possible that a lot of people would have just stopped with the lumpectomy because after the lumpectomy was done, it was pretty much indicated that they had gotten everything.
Okay.
But with BRCA testing and my age being young, I was only 40, 41. With being that age, they recommend that you would have the chemo and radiation as well. So I ended up having the surgery, chemo, and radiation.
So you mentioned early detection. Can we talk about that a little bit? So I know that it's recommended now. I think they've backed it all the way up to age 35 is when you should start doing self breast exams and also possibly with your mammograms. So can you talk to us about early detection and how, what had you seen before you felt that on yourself to know? So if you had not known about early detection, you may not have paid attention to that. So can you
Mhm.
talk to us a little bit about your knowledge of early detection and how that helped you to be aware of your own body to know that it was different than it had been before?
Right. Well, working in public health, these are things that you come in contact with. Telling people about early detection. You know, you want to, I always tell people, know your bodies, know what your breast normally would feel like, so
Right.
that when you're doing your self breast exams, you know that something may feel different. And even if you see something different, if you see discharge, or if you see see a knot, sometimes a knot can actually be seen. So, if you are this not something normal for you, you want to make sure that you follow up with it.
Right. So it's healthy for us to know our own bodies. You know, sometimes, especially in the African American community, we think touching ourselves is a little touche. But as a woman, I think it's very important for you to understand your body, to know what your body feels like,
That's
so that
exactly
you
right.
can know when something isn't quite right. And our bodies usually tell us in some form when it's time
Mhm.
to pay attention. So that
That's
that
right.
is good information. Thank you so very much.
And,
And
and
so
and it's for men as well, Cassandra.
yes,
For men
actually,
as
I
well.
was listening to Anna Wade yesterday, who we interviewed, and she was talking about a family that she had met at one of the walks that all three men in the family had suffered from breast cancer. So it's not just for the ladies, it's for
I,
men
that
to
was
know their body
amazing.
too.
That was amazing. I listened to her. She
Yeah,
she had an amazing story.
absolutely.
Amazing.
So talk to us about what else was going on in your life during this time and about how God's goodness carried you through this time in your life.
Yes, indeed. So during this same time that my breast cancer was discovered, my husband had an ongoing health issue. He had heart failure, not only congestive heart failure, but heart failure um, in general, wherein the condition of the heart progressively gets worse over time. And so he was kind of at this point in his health. And so while I was going through my the end of my treatment time and in my healing process, I was as well taking care of him, because it was just him and I. It's just us. So a lot of times this is what I've learned as well. A lot of times we do have family, we do have friends, but there is always a time when it's just you and God.
Yes.
Him giving you strength to do what you need to do. And my husband and I found ourselves a lot of times in in this very situation. And, it's, as they say, it's me and your kid, we got to do what we got to do. And so it wasn't always easy, Cassandra. Not always easy, because I didn't always feel well. I was in the early part of it, I was still taking my radiation. So I was driving to the Albany area. The radiation, 7 weeks every day. So I was having to drive sometimes, most times alone. And if you have never had the opportunity to have some time with God alone, that is what gets you through.
Absolutely.
That's what gets you through. You've got to. Sometimes it's just you and God, and you just have to gung ho. It's me and you, God. I know you got me. I know I trust you. I trust your word. I trust your promises. And you just do. You just have to keep pushing.
So that personal time with God is actually something that I feel like, regardless, and we're getting into a little bit into our next point, but
Mhm.
the personal time with God and having your relationship on your own, regardless of anyone else, is so very important, because there
So,
will come a time in your life where you will face
mhm.
something that no one else can solve for you. And it's very important, if you're listening to this and if you don't have a personal relationship with God, or you have shied away from that, we are
Mhm.
encouraging you tonight to renew that, because truthfully,
Mhm.
it is all you have. Sometimes at certain points in your life, your
Mhm.
relationship with God is all you have.
You have. That's right. That's exactly right. Exactly right. And you cannot make it without him. You can't.
Absolutely.
Mm.
So tell us about your husband and kind of how you made it through that situation.
Oh yes, and so sometime, not well, I would say about 2 years, 2 to 3 years later, he his condition worsened, um, and he passed away. He passed away, and so, but our faith and our relationship, I knew this is another thing that is just, when you have a true love in your marriage and you have a true relationship with God's love in between, even in death, He will comfort you. Even in death, you can feel that comfort and that peace. And, we had discussed some things, if this should happen, if this should happen, then we trust God enough to know that with the condition that he was in, we trust God enough to know that this is what we will do. We talked about some things. And so when the time came, you never are ready for it.
Right.
You're never ready for it. But you trust God enough to know that He'll get you through it. And,
Absolutely.
and and He does. He just it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. It just doesn't seem like it. But He's there. He's there.
Absolutely. He is there. And that is the true
Mhm,
testament of the goodness of God, is even
mhm,
when you're going through yourself, the closest love to you is going through, you end up
mhm,
losing that person. God allows you to remain, and for
mhm,
you to
mhm.
still see his goodness is a testimony of God's faithfulness. And I just want
Indeed,
to say, sister,
indeed.
that I am understanding your story, and that it has encouraged me even on today to understand that there is nothing that you can go through that God cannot see you through, regardless of where you're at. If you've got your own diagnosis and the person you love has a diagnosis and they
Mhm.
leave you, then God never leaves you. He is still there, and He will show you His
He's
love
there.
and His goodness, regardless
Mhm.
of where you are in your life.
Exactly, exactly.
And so, your next point that is about, everyone is fighting some type of battle. So talk to us about what that means to you.
Can we go to church right here?
Yes, we can.
Cassandra, even as of lately in our lives, we have just recently lost a coworker, head of our HR department. We were just together on the 30th. We had a tremendous, you all might have seen on Facebook, we had a tremendous employee appreciation training session. Just beautiful, just enjoying the fellowship with each other. Just on this past Friday, she, her husband, and her daughter were killed in in a vehicle accident, a head-on collision. Just like that, gone. She left behind two sons, I believe, and one of them may attend Southwestern or has attended Southwestern, because that's how I first, saw the information. But the fact of the matter is, we don't know what tomorrow holds, and we don't know what other people. Everybody has some type of battle that they're fighting, and it's not. There are different kinds of cancer that people are fighting. It's not all, I'm a breast cancer survivor. So, of course, I push, fighting for breast cancer. But we realize that there are other forms of cancer. I know that you lost a very dear loved one, your grandmother, to cancer. When you've lost someone to the what we say the ugliness of cancer, it's still the same. It's the same God, the same trust that you've got to have to get you through it. And everyone has some type of battle, and we just have to remember that and try and keep each other uplifted because it's not always easy.
Right. It's not always easy.
Mm-mm.
And you're not going to always, sometimes it's just putting one foot in front of the other. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But
Mm.
as you say, the truth of the matter is that sometimes if you can just get up enough strength to put one foot in front of the other, to make it down the hallway, to get dressed, one foot in front of the other, to get in the car, to just make it out of the house, that is
Mhm.
God still sustaining you, even in the midst of what you're going through.
Even in the mess, one day at a time.
That's right. One day at a
Mhm.
time. What does
That's
it mean
that,
to trust God? One day at a time.
one day at a time. That's what I tell people that I come in contact with that are facing breast cancer or any type cancer. That it's one day at a time. You're not looking. You can't look way down the road because you don't know what's way down the road, but that you're just taking it one day at a time, trusting God, one day at a
That's
time.
fine. And
Hmm.
I think we can even agree that sometimes it's one moment at a time. You don't know.
That's right. That's right.
Right. Because when you're going through sometimes your emotions and your feelings are just all over the place. And truthfully, we have to just trust him one moment at a time. God, I know
Absolutely.
I don't feel it right now, but I
Mhm.
know what your word says, and I know that you won't leave me or forsake me. So for this
Mhm.
moment right here, I'm just going to
Mhm.
trust you for this next breath I'm taking because I don't see my way, but I know you
Mhm.
will make a way for me.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So, is there anything else pertaining to your journey that you want to share with us before we go into a little bit about your job and kind of what you're currently doing for outreach? Is there anything else concerning Treny's story that you want to share, or a word of encouragement for anyone out there who may be listening?
I am just grateful, Cassandra, for family and friends that support me, that have supported me all throughout my journey, and who still support me. And I had family that would, and if you encounter someone that is going through, make sure that you do reach out to them. Don't ask, what can I do? Do something.
Yes.
Whether it be they may need groceries, they may not feel like going to the grocery store. I love dearly my sister-in-law Dot. Oftentimes she would be at the store. Trina, what do you need? I'm in the store. What do you need? She would bring me fresh fruit cut up already. Because you can only have certain fruits when you're going through chemo, radiation, chemo especially. You can only eat certain things. So, someone in the family needs to know, or a friend needs to know these things so that they can, just pitch in a helping hand, share, stop by, pray a prayer, you know,
Yeah.
just, yeah, show that love. Show that
Support
love.
means everything when you're going through. Support means everything. And
Exactly.
sometimes people say, let me know if you need me. Well, you know I need you. So just do
Mhm.
something.
That's exactly right. That's exactly, and we say that out of love. We say
Yes.
it out of love, but what we've learned is what we need to learn is we need to do it
Yeah.
out of love.
Out
Yeah,
of love.
just
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 do
go
it.
ahead and do it. If you see there's a need, do it. And if they
Do it.
don't need it, they'll need it later.
That's right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Support means everything, and if you can't physically do anything, uplifting people in prayer and letting them know that you are on my mind. I am thinking of you.
That's right.
Especially when you're going through a battle, people on in the beginning, everybody's there, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
and then as time goes by, people have a
Mm-hmm.
tendency to drift away. But I think it's important that we understand that support never ends. So that
Mm-hmm.
means just like you support me in the beginning, I'm going to need you on day 45. I'm going to need you in year 3. I'm going
That's
to need you at year 8. I'm still going to need support.
that's
So,
exactly right. That's exactly right.
so talk to me about your public health resources, what your job currently is, and the things that you do for outreach.
Well, I do work with public health. I'm on the administrative end of it. But in that, with public health, you wear so many hats. And so we do offer breast and cervical cancer program services, where, and with this program, women who do not have health insurance, a lot of times I express to my church family, a lot of times that's a hold up for us.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that because they don't have health insurance, they won't be able to get the care that they need. They're afraid to even go if they feel something. They're afraid to go. I don't have any insurance. What am I going to do? And so these services are available through public health, the women's health, Medicaid, but they can be put on Medicaid.
Okay.
It has income guidelines, but the services are there and available, and as well for cervical cancer. So those two programs they're there. The services are there. A lot of people don't realize it, but there are. Yeah, and so
So,
you
what
need
do you
to know.
enjoy most about what you're doing now?
Truthfully, I think that I have always, the reason I love public health is the fact that I am helping. I'm there to help someone. Even though I may be on the clerical administrative end of it, it's just the fact that in your spirit, you know that I am doing a service where I'm helping someone. And to be able to help someone is a blessing.
Yes, and to feel
Mhm.
like you're giving back is a blessing, as well, to those.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And for those that I come in contact with who may be facing breast cancer or even cervical cancer, being able to witness and share with them that, hey, here I am. I survived it.
Yes.
You can survive it. Just to have a secret prayer with them, even if we have to go outside, have a secret prayer and talk with them and let them know, you know what, God is able.
Yes.
He
And,
is.
and you are a living testimony that he is able. You are at 9 years of showing that God is truly able to
Thank
see
you, Lord.
you through. We've got to give him all the praise. We give him all
God,
the honor.
glory.
We give him all the glory because he has seen you through, and we're trusting God that he will continue to do so. And we know that every day we face a different challenge, but I am so, so, so thankful tonight to be able to celebrate 9 years of survivorship. It's a blessing to see your beautiful face and to see you doing well. 9 years later, God is still honoring your prayers. He is still gracing you to be able to talk about your journey. You are strong enough that you can talk about your husband and
Yes,
his strength and not be bitter and angry. It's a
thank you, Jesus.
blessing to be able to be a witness of God's goodness. So I am so excited to continue to celebrate all this month with you and with the other survivors that we'll be speaking to. So if somebody wants to talk more to you or to want to hear a little bit more about your story, if you want Treny to appear on your program, or I am pushing her. Yes, I am. She is a beautiful woman with a beautiful spirit. So if you want to reach out to Treny, I would encourage you to do so. Tell us how we can find you if they're looking for you for more information.
I am on Facebook. They can reach me through Facebook or message me. Truthfully, that is one of the one of the main reasons. A lot of people, a lot of my friends go, "Oh, she's Facebook, Facebook, Facebook." But that's one of the main reasons that I did get on Facebook, so that someone else who may be going through or who may need to know that, hey, there's a survivor, I may be able to contact her, or I may be able to talk with her. She might know the answer to this question, or she might know what I feel like.
Yeah.
She might be able to tell me what's going on, and then knowing that I work in public health, you know, just being accessible and let someone seeing the victory
Yeah.
that God can give.
Honey, someone seeing the victory. The truest testimony is looking at where you are and then seeing where it ends up. To see
Mm-hmm.
for someone who just got a diagnosis and they're looking at you on the screen right now, here 9 years later, not only with the battle with breast cancer, but with losing your dear husband. What
Mm-hmm.
word would you say to them before we leave this broadcast? I just want you to just to give them a few words of how
Mm-hmm.
made it through.
Mm. I would absolutely say to them, Cassandra, to trust God first of all. Even when I received my diagnosis, it was almost as if it seemed as though I was in like another zone. Like I was in another, it's like I could hear the words, that the doctor was telling me. And I had already told my mom and dad, of course, they were with me, such blessings they are in my life. They were with me, and I said, I am trusting God. I'm claiming that I do not have it. I'm claiming that I do not. But if I do, I trust God that He will see me through.
Yes.
So, first of all, I say trust God. Second of all, and if you should be faced with it, one day at a time.
Yes.
Don't try and answer all the questions down the road. I think even the doctor told me that. Don't try and figure out everything down the road. What's going to happen if this? What's going to happen if that? And I have an aunt also that I love dearly, my aunt Josephine, who was a two-time breast cancer survivor.
Wow.
Yes, she was there for me. And she would always tell me, Treny, don't worry about don't worry about what's down the road. Just just take one day at a time and trust God in the process. And that's exactly what I tell people, and that's what I would tell them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so very much for sharing your story. I feel your spirit. God is with you. I am so happy and I am honored to have had the opportunity to have this conversation with you. And as we share your story with the world, I pray that God continues to open up more doors for you and that he continues to grace you with the power to be strong and to encourage
Mm-hmm.
others. So if you're looking for Treny, she is Treny Brown on Facebook. Hit her up in the DMs. And tell her that I told you to do that.
I received that. I received
Yes.
that.
So we thank
And,
God for your testimony, Treny. Go ahead.
and thank you, Cassandra, for the vision of doing this. And if anyone knows about Queen Bling, everyone know they love my jewelry, Cassandra. Everybody loves a little jewelry.
That's
And,
right.
and then if you know Cassandra, you know that you're going to get a word with that jewelry. So we thank you for the vision, the things that you're doing to bring forth the word of God to his people. We are grateful. We're grateful for you as well. And I thank you especially.
Thank you so much, Trini. To God be the
Mhm.
glory. I always
Mhm.
say that it's not about me, but it's about Him. I wouldn't be doing this if He didn't tell me to. So
That's right.
I thank Him
Mhm.
because with Him we can achieve all things. Without Him, we're nothing. So I
Mhm.
again appreciate people like you who've been riding with me in Queen Bling for a few years now.
Yes, yes, yes. We love it. We love it.
So I again, everybody, we are talking tonight with Miss Treny Brown of Montezuma, Georgia. If you're interested in connecting with her, send her a DM or a friend request on Facebook. She is a 9-year cancer survivor, warrior woman of God who will have something to say to you to encourage your heart. So again, we thank you for joining us tonight. And as we continue this series, we pray that something has been said tonight that has encouraged your spirit and your heart. Again, Treny, thank you so very much. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.